column, and today our Irish opinion is on our opinion of women in the bedroom.
Or everywhere else.
Like
on the floor,
on
in
the
the
beach,
kitchen.
on the counter.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about sex. So, Katie, Auntie Babe, do you still feel that you are a sexual being? Do you feel like a sexual being? Still?
I think it's a myth that people believe that women over 50 are not a sexual being. I am very much a sexual being. I feel sexual. I feel sensual. I believe that I am a sexual being. I am a babe.
Auntie Babe. Oh my gosh, you said that with so much passion and expression. It can only be true.
It's because people think that, you're done with your menopause and life is over. Yes, we've had challenges, with our dilemmas in menopause, but when you have your HRCs and they're all working, your libido is going straight up.
Exactly.
So you do want to enjoy yourself.
And that is the key word, enjoyment. I think for us, after 50, there's not that much more that you have to worry about. It really is more about enjoyment and really embracing our relationship. It's not just sex.
It's not about sex. It's more about intimacy. It's really about the candles, the bubble baths, the music. And that for me, I believe that most women, as they get older, the 50, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, I think that's where we are at. And I would assume that a lot of the women that listen to us are thinking, hey, I'm not going to apologize for wanting more intimacy in our lives. But remember, we're not only talking about women that are unattached. We're talking about married women in their 50s. So if men are listening as well, I would think that they would take away what women want in their 50s. Because we are in our second acts in our life. And I think the second act means that our needs are very much different.
So sex actually, this is how I look at it. Sex becomes a byproduct of something bigger, the intimacy. Sex is not the first thing you think about. Sex kind of comes in at the end of the romance, the intimacy, all of that, the moments that you have together. You don't sit there and think, I need to have sex.
No, and that is why things like sexting is so important. And I think that we've lost that. I've helped. I think I'm a pretty good sexter, and I think I've also helped some of my friends get into the sexting thing as well, because you become so unadulterated about what you want to say. It's that mischievousness that you want.
We're so naughty.
You want to be naughty and you don't want to pick up the phone and say it on the phone. But there's something about sexting it. It is play.
I'm listening. I want you to tell us more.
I'm not going to tell you about what I would say in the sexting. But I would think that I've shared some of the stuff.
Yeah, you and I will talk about this over coffee
or a tea. I think it is really keeping. Again, it's when you're a happy spirit. Sex seems to be more fun. It's not the actual act. Remember, we don't have to worry about procreating. We don't have to worry about.
But this is what I was talking about.
We don't have to worry about pregnancies. So I think we're at the best time in our lives.
I agree,
because we can be so unapologetic. I think that even. We had this conversation about things like lingerie, matching underwear. Those things are part of who we are, our sexual being.
It's not something we only wear when we are going to see somebody or end up in bed with somebody, or when we sometime in the future end up in bed with somebody.
You have so much hope, I see.
But we still wear those things because it's for us.
Exactly. And I think as we get older, we realize that there is a more relaxed, mature women. We are more relaxed. But then in saying that, I think that as much as we feel sexy, I think people judge us because they think that we are sexual and that we are trying to show out our cleavage and show our, short dresses and stuff. However, that's where men that are in marriages with 50-year-old women or in relationships with 50-year-old women, try to find younger women attractive, because again, they think that we're lacking something. We just don't have our period anymore. We're not lacking the rest.
That's all that we're lacking. And that's a good thing.
And that's okay.
That's a positive thing. It means there's more days in the month to have sex.
So what is... True. We don't have to look at our calendars anymore. So in saying that, we can just get it on at any time. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or anywhere.
So it's saying that what is this obsession with men and having sex with younger women? I know what my thoughts are. I want to hear what you say.
I don't know. I think... unless, I don't know. I mean, I can't live inside a man's head, but I'm thinking, I guess it's the whole social kind of positioning of women at a certain age. I feel that there's a sell-by date for women, and therefore it is something that we are socialized to and how we're acting. So men automatically, because they've been raised to think of older women as maybe not sexually satisfying, their bodies don't look as great, their whole approach to sex might be outdated, and therefore they go for the younger woman who should be the opposite of all of that.
But on that note of sexual satisfying, isn't it to need to play the game? So I would think that men are a little bit cowardly when they do want to go for younger girls. So if they're not feeling that they're getting enough in the bedroom, and they feel that they can get it from younger women, I personally feel is that younger women don't talk much. We talk a lot. We know what we want. We tell them what we want. So they feel that it's an inadequacy because we are telling them how we feel, the parts that need to be touched. And I think younger girls probably don't, it's not even the top of their mind.
Mm-hmm. But now, I think we're talking about two different things here. There's the older couple, married couple, and then we're talking about older single women that's ready to get into the dating sexual situation. And then there's married men that might cheat, let's say, on their wives because their older wife, because they're going for a younger man. Now, there are different things here. Firstly, we need to look at those marriages and say, are these marriages full of fun and excitement and all of that, or is it just stale? That's why he's cheating. Mm-hmm. Not because, or I don't know, one of the reasons.
But even if it's stale, why is he not making an effort to refresh it?
No, wait. Don't just, I'm also going to stand up for the men here. I have seen women, I have seen these things happen.
Yeah.
Some women, I'm not saying you and me.
Yeah.
There are women that get so used to, I'm in this situation, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm in the situation, I'm just going to go to bed with my tracksuit on tonight.
Okay, that's a problem.
I'm sorry. You are the problem. So, but I'm not saying that if we just go out and cheat.
So it's not justification for them to cheat.
So I'm saying that.
So it's communication. Why are they communicating?
No, but also keep the spice in your marriage.
Yeah, that
keep the spice in your marriage, because you and I.
So says Lynn that is not married.
No. And the thing is, maybe I did all of those things. I was married for 20 years. Maybe I also became very stale. And I'm saying but also maybe the husbands are also becoming stale in their, if we're not going to keep things going, that is why we're looking for fresh, exciting things.
So why do younger men find older women attractive?
Because they don't. This is my opinion. Because you're not, unless it's you. I'm not going to tell them I want to get married tomorrow. We're just going to have a great time. We're just going to do the fun things. I'm going to go off and see to my family. He's going to go off and do his thing. I'm not trying to lock him in.
So do you think it's a less commitment from?
I don't know. It could be one of the things. It's just my opinion. I feel that once a younger man have experienced an older woman like me, he would say, oh my God, I can never go back.
I believe that. Yeah.
I'm not going to try and lock you in. I'm not going to try and tell you how you must behave. I'm not going to tell you can't now watch rugby because the Stormers are playing sorry, I just know the Stormers. I'm not going to do those things. He is going to find me easygoing. He's going to find me uncomplicated. He's going to find me fun and full of life, and we're going to go hiking together. He's an outdoorsy person.
Society does judge us.
Yeah.
Society judges older women, though. So I'm just trying to say is younger men find older women attractive, right?
Once they know what they're
because they
getting.
know that they can get some.
Once they know, and once they've experienced, I think they must first experience it, and then they will not want to go back.
Exactly. However, in saying that, so this younger guy is doing all the great things that I find attractive, and that I am now dating a younger man, say, right? So, but I get judged. I am an auntie. So I get judged for dating a younger guy.
But that's society again. It's a social norms.
But they're not judging the
because that's how it's been all along.
And
men can date younger women, but older women can't date younger men. It's just nonsense. But we are going to defy. Remember, we've said in our introductions, I'm a rebel.
With a cause.
With a cause. And the cause is a younger man.
And I'm defiant. So, Lynn, we've spoken about a whole lot of stuff when it comes to intimacy that we like and the romance part of it. Let us delve into older women and fantasy. So we might be, like we said, younger men's fantasies. As older women, what are our fantasies and fetishes? Are we brave enough to talk about that?
I don't know. I guess we can venture there. Fantasies in terms of sexual fantasies or men fantasies, both?
I think both.
Okay.
It's like, would you think about having, back in the days when we used to watch these music videos and it was about having sex with a stranger. That's a fantasy. I know I wouldn't do that. You wouldn't? It's very scary. I watch too many true crimes.
You are such a movie watcher. Anyway, fantasies. I don't know. Look, to be honest with you.
Do older women want to have threesomes?
Yes, I think so.
Do they want to have threesomes for themselves or for their partner?
No, it should be for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is the difference with a fantasy like that when we do it as we older versus a threesome when women are younger.
Because when you're younger, it's like almost a service to your partner.
And then when you're older, it is for yourself.
Yeah.
It's you become selfish. It is for yourself.
And everything over 50 is for yourself first.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, look, I'm going to say to you, so if I had to imagine having a fantasy like that, I can't remember in the last couple of recent past having a fantasy like that, but let's say I have a fantasy like that. It will definitely be for myself. It would have to be me. There can't be other women involved. Oh my God, I cannot deal with that thought. Okay, you can do that. For me, it's going to be me and them. 2 penises and me. Not another.
Have a problem with that
no other women in my fantasies.
Because I'm thinking that those 2 men
it's
might...
not going to be you and me and them.
No. But I think those 2 men would be competing with each other to see who's better.
But then they will give me the best I need to get. Let them compete, Katie.
So that is not a threesome.
No. It's a threesome. What do you mean?
That is a dominance. You are Miss Dominix and you are like, well,
No. I'm not fighting. I'm just enjoying. I am just enjoying and they are bringing the heat. Yeah, they're bringing the heat. So if they are competing, that's their thing. This is my fantasy. So I don't care what they're doing. This is my fantasy. So in my fantasy, there's me and 2 men. No, let's not go 3. 2 men.
It's too much there.
No, 2 men. But not another woman. That is definitely very clear for me. There will not be another vagina.
So I kind of fantasize about... Do you remember that movie Eyes Wide Shut?
I can't remember the details.
Yeah,
yes.
with Tom Cruise and the mask. Yes. And that's kind of in my fantasy, not my real life, but that's like a fantasy kind of thing. Because again, the movie made it to be, made it as though it was just so erotic and deep. And so that could be something about not knowing who the person is, but again, of course, that is a safe space because, I mean, being invited, again, I'm always saying that is a safe space because being invited to, an Eyes Wide Shut kind of movie. But then I'm not into swingers and because swingers are people that you know and I'm not into swingers.
Where you leave the keys and you see which key, that stuff.
Not into that.
So Eyes Wide Shut is a fantasy, but we won't do online dating.
Yes, because there's a sense of power in the Eyes Wide Shut fantasy. I think, yeah.
Look at me, we're judging you.
you are judging me. Definitely. But remember,
No, but seriously.
it's a fantasy.
Okay, so fantasies. Okay, there's
I'm
no.
not living my fantasy.
Okay, fantasies. Okay, fantasies remain fantasies.
Yes.
Okay, real life is real life.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
So there's a power and there's a dominance in an eyes wide
So
shut.
you'll never live out your fantasies?
Depends if it's there in front of me, maybe. It depends on my mood.
Would it be an impulsive
but
thing
Lynn,
or
we're
a
talking
planned
about
thing?
fantasies. We don't even have a date. So I think our fantasies will stay fantasies for a while. And I'm not going to just live my fantasies. I will not live through my fantasies with just anybody. He has to be very, very special for me to live my fantasies.
Katie, we'll keep the fantasies at fantasies then.
So let's just leave our fantasies as our fantasies.
I think you are trying to get out of this.
I think, yeah, definitely so. But, we used to, I know that when I was in a relationship, there used to be sex parties. I'm not sure if, I've not been invited to a sex party before.
I've never done
sex party, I'm not talking about men, sex parties as in, Botox party, sex parties. Where before, back in the days, there would be like a Tupperware party.
Yeah, like a Tupperware party.
And then you would go and choose. Of course, now you can buy it online. And I think also that also has lost the fun of it. When we used to be invited to these sex toy parties. Let me not just say sex parties.
Yeah, because I was like thinking sex parties.
Sex
toy parties,
sex toy parties. Like, the Tupperware parties that our mums used to do. So it's the sex toy parties. And then you would... they would have all these exciting toys in there, and then you would convince yourself that you need all of them. And then you go back home and you're like, what was I thinking? But then, of course, when you're in relationships and your partner is open to objects, toys, as we call them, then I think it also spices up your relationship. So that is a fantasy, but I can live.
You can live that.
I can live those kind of fantasies. But I think we should actually bring back sex toy parties because it's much more than just the actual toy.
Okay.
It's about education. It's about loving yourself. It's about loving yourself through experiences with these kind of toys.
You're hosting. Okay, you're hosting.
Okay, well,
let's move on from that one because you're going to host and we're going to come see what you have there and then we'll take it from there. But let's talk about what else did we want to talk? We wanted to talk about libido. We wanted to talk about difficulties in having sex over your
So we're going
50s.
to talk about sexual limitations. And I think that is a real thing. As much as we are fantasizing about pole dancing and, eyes wide shut, we do realistically have sexual limitations as we get older. Like I said, briefly, our limitations are when we go through our menopause, our libidos go. And then, of course, there is a new me and there's new libido.
Yeah.
But there are other sexual
and positions that we used to be able to do. The way you used to be able to bend in all different directions.
And flexibility, as you talk about. However, the reality is there is cramping. I've also realized that guys also cramp in their older age, whatever.
It's like, wait.
That's kind of a big thing. So I guess you're going to have to be fit. I mean, that's again is like to be fit to try these things. But it's about enjoying yourself in your younger time. But that is why intimacy is so important because what you want to do all night takes you all night to do.
And now you're thinking of like, let's go younger men. Are they definitely more fit? Hopefully, because the one that I'm going to date will be more fit than me.
I would want to date a younger man that is fit, but also understands intimacy. Remember, you don't want a guy to just come and do his thing and go out.
So that's the thing,
You want a younger man that's still on the same level as you, that understands that what you are as a person, what makes you tick or not tick, and what parts of your body needs to be tickled.
So limitations we're talking about, and you went to see your gynae the other day?
I did. So I went to see not my gynae. I went to see my hormone doctor who I love,
okay, your
right?
hormone doctor.
He's like a therapist to me who I love. And he says to me, okay, fine. So we've got this hormones going in here. And I want to talk to you about your your sexuality? And I look at him and it's like, so how's the libido go? So I look questioningly and I'm thinking, okay, fine. I think my libido is kind of up. There's no activity happening, but in my head now I'm thinking, but I think I feel like,
I can do this.
I can do this. And then he says something, no, I really want to talk. So this is about the limitations. And he's like, no, I really want to talk about your vagina. And I said, okay, well, again, I know you just love to talk about my vagina. It's not the prettiest thing, but I know none of our sexual parts are pretty. But and then he says, I just need to tell you about if you are sexual, please, if sexually active, please make sure that you kind of lubricate it. Now, remember, I've taken lubrication as, I was pretty cool about lubrication before, as in things were working out pretty fine. I didn't need help.
Yeah.
So now he was trying to say to me,
I could do it myself.
I could
naturally.
do it myself.
Yeah, it will just flow.
So now all of a sudden he's like, you could have this help. So now he's making me alert. So I'm like, yes, so doc, okay. And then he's like, no. I just want to, if you are sexually active, maybe you do need some help. And then there are these things like lube and all of these things that you can get. So I went and think about it at home and I'm like, I never in my wildest dreams thought that I needed. So it is a limitation.
So what we're saying here, Katie, what we're actually saying is that after a certain age, I don't know where it starts, but in our 50s, definitely, there's dry vaginas.
Very much so, but there's help for dry vaginas.
There's help for that, and that is not because he isn't exciting you too much. It's just your natural.
But he must also know that it's not a problem that I have, because I think I will take it personally. If a guy thinks that, hey, what is going on here? This old woman is a prune, a dried prune or something.
And that's why we're choosing a champion. So he's going to understand that he's dealing with a woman that is going to be more free, more all this amazing things, but he's probably going to encounter some dryness in the vagina, and he's going to have to come ready, or she's going to be ready with her lube, right? Also, yes, to understand that he probably has to be a bit more gentle because her vaginal skin is a bit thinner, and she might have micro tears.
And might become painful.
I never
thought that. I thought just being a virgin was painful enough.
So
I don't think
we're not saying we're little delicate things, but come on, now you just need to be gentle.
So I think
be a superhero.
So I believe
that's gentle.
So I believe now we should have this conversation up front with whomever the activity is happening, and whoever this person is could not say that we are old prunes. They must understand that these things come with the limitations that we.
There are lots of positives, but you need to understand these things and you need to accommodate for them. You need to make accommodation.
Do you think a limitation is also that we're not ready every day? Because remember, women, older women want more sex, but I think less of sex. So if I'm trying to say is we want more sex, as in we want a whole package of sex, which it must come with watching an erotic movie. It must come with
it's an experience.
It must be an experience.
It's an experience. It's a package deal. It's an experience. It's not just coming like boom, 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 boom.
So I.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. No.
We do not want the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Nothing like
Although
that.
sometimes the quickie is
Listen, there's always space for things like that.
I think quickie is always a nice to have every now and again.
But it's not your everyday thing. You know, it's like you must just. So it's about. So what we're saying is, women. Mature women like us, we would like to have a conversation. We need to tell you what we like. You tell us what you enjoy. There's this kind of conversation about the things that we want to get into, not into. Yeah.
And there's this thing that some women also say, and I know that in my circle, and I think that people know who I'm talking about. Well, they would know, is that. Women do say, I can't do without sex. And I know that is not true, because I know as a choice I can do without sex. What are your thoughts on that one?
Not being able to do without sex.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. For me, that's definitely not a thing. I can definitely do without sex. I have been doing without sex. I'm just fine. I think I'm amazing.
So do you think that some women older women say that purely because they want to be seen as
these,
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel that when they do say, oh, but I'm not like you. I can't, which means that you're just going to do anybody at any time just purely because you want to have this
also,
desire fulfilled.
Do you think it could be some form of insecurity in people?
I think so. I think because you also don't just get a man just for sex as you get older.
Because I even feel that, for me, even that is disrespectful. I don't want to look as a man as a sexual object. He has to come with way more value than that to me, because I think it's so easy for us to always think of men thinking or sexualizing women, but women can sometimes do the same thing, and I don't want to have that with a man. I want to see him for all the other wonderful things he would be, rather than just what he can bring sexually.
The as we get older, and I can speak on myself, and I don't know if you've ever done this, is that I have been very, over the years, inquisitive about this. Maybe I was a courtesan in my past life, but I there's a level of eroticism that I enjoy, and that whether I read about it or whether I watch it,
or whatever.
So it's very different to pornographic. I mean, let me just be clear about that. And the one thing I did many years ago, many years ago, is really engage in understanding other sexual, and it's not a fetish. It's really how you live. Exploring, and that is the word. So yes, I engaged in understanding tantric sex, because then again it's really about that intimacy that we talk about. It's really not just about sex, and I found the idea of tantric sex so sensual, and just because it's more than just the actual act. It's really understanding your body, understanding your private parts, understanding a man's private parts, how it actually works. Do we actually look at a penis or a vagina and look in there and like, this is actually what works? I don't even know if guys even think about looking at a diagram and think, let me just look at it and look at actually what happens where.
Exactly.
And for me, that's what I got in tantric sex. And that's what I feel I realized, that I understand how a penis works, as in what happens inside, like in the
all
things.
The detail, and the anatomy,
absolutely,
and the pleasure points. So did I tell you? I did mention to you, you must watch on Netflix. There is this movie, this documentary called Principles of Pleasure.
I'm watching that this weekend.
You must watch it, because it is interesting. But it's a lot on the female anatomy, and it talks about those things. And I was watching this thing, and I thought, I am 55 years old, and almost 55 years old in July on the 11th, if you want to say happy birthday. but anyway, so but it goes.
You might be on a date.
I might be. The way this is going, I might just be very highly wanted, But it talks about the pleasure points and how we have also, again, be socialized as women not to express our need for pleasure and what we want in sexual, during intimacy and sex itself, and how we can't even verbalize it properly,
because we were taught from a society perspective, it's something that we don't talk.
It's dirty.
We haven't spoken about it with our parents. I know. I mean, I am one of four sisters, and I'm the one person that can actually talk to my siblings about very openly about sex. But I see that my younger sisters are very shy about it. They're not much younger than me, but they are shy about it.
But why are they shy? Because we have been... Yeah, it's socializing. It's the way we're being raised, is to say that you don't talk about, this is a taboo. You don't talk about sex. You don't talk about pleasure. You can't express any of that. And if you do, you either are, I don't know what, a nymphomaniac or...
Yeah, that's a topic for another conversation about nymphomania. And I think we kind of really covered an entire conversation that is so interesting when it comes to sex and intimacy as we get older. And I think what we actually speaking about is so real. We all go through this, and I believe that our audience would actually look at it and say, hey, you know what? I am not there's nothing wrong with me with wanting to feel, to touch, self-pleasure, enjoy the anatomy. And I think for me leaving here and knowing that I will not apologize for being a sexual being.
No.
I know my limitations. I will not apologize for it. And I enjoy it for myself. And I hope that the person that I am with or will be with is going to enjoy me a lot more as well.
Part of being human is being sexual. Join us next time on Outspoken Owls.